Welcome to all the viewers. This is Dr. Bookworm back with a new video, and in this video we are going to discover the city tour bus of Hobart, which is a hop on and hop off bus service that shows you all around the important places of the city. So we are going to take this tour today. It is a 90 minutes tour in total, and there are two options to buy tickets from. One is the 24 hours hop on and hop off bus service. You can buy this ticket in $40 and you will be able to use the bus service for 24 hours. You can drop off at any point in between the tour and spend some time there and then get on again on the next bus. So you can use this service for 24 hours in the loop. And the other option is for $70, which is for 48 hours, in which you will be able to use the service for the entire 48 hours. You can take the service from any stop in the map and then you can drop off at any point you want to. So this bus service and its stops, I will share all the details in this video, and I will show you around the whole city of Hobart and its important places using this double-decker red bus that is a very beautiful service to explore the city if you are new here. So stay tuned by the end of the video. So I just got my ticket and I'm on the bus now. So I'm sitting on the upper deck of the bus so that I can show you the city around. And as you can see, this is the office from where you can get the tickets and all the information about the tours. And if I show you my ticket, so we can see the main stops from where we will be going along. So this is the ticket and I got it for $40. So for $40 you can buy the ticket for 24 hours and you can use the hop on and hop off service of the bus. You can drop on any stop and then take the bus again from the same stop. So this bus operates only on Saturdays and Sundays. So if you are planning this tour, make sure you come on the weekends. So the main stops we will be going through includes the travel center, that where we are right now. Then the Brook Street, Pier, Salamanca Place, Princess Park, Battery Point, St. George's Church, St. Georges Terrace, Wrest Point, Sandy Bay Village, Cascade Brewery, Female Factory, South Hobart Village, Village Cinema, Hobart CBD, Tasmanian Museum, Maritime Museum, Hobart Convict, Penitentiary, Aquatic Centre, Botanical Garden and Vitoria Dock. So if we see, so right now it's 10 a.m. and we will begin our journey now. And today the weather is pretty pleasant. It's cloudy and 13 degrees Celsius. So let's start our journey and I will start showing you all the uncut visuals of this double-decker bus. So let's begin. So there is also a service of commentary, so you can listen to the commentary while riding this bus in different languages including English, French, Dutch, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Chinese and Espanol. So you just need to plug in your headphone in this jack, and also here is the stop button. If you want to hop off at any bus stop, you can simply press this button and the driver will stop the bus for you. So this is the first stop, travel center, our first stop, and we have started our journey now.
Then hop on a later bus. Look after your tickets as they are valid for 24 or 48 hours. For now, however, just sit back, relax and enjoy the tour. We are now heading into Sullivan's Cove, which was the birthplace of Hobart back in 1804. Up until the late 1960s, The cove was a major port for the state of Tasmania, exporting apples, pears, stone fruit, and all your favourite berry fruits. A warm welcome to those of you who have joined us. We are about to cover 26 kilometres of the city. If you choose to hop off at any of our stops, please ring the bell nearest you. Hold on to your tickets, as you will need them to hop back on board at our designated stops. If you want to hop back on the bus, wave your brochure at the driver as the bus approaches. Please remember to remain seated whilst the bus is moving. If you look to the right, you will see Parliament House, built in the 1830s and designed by government architect John Lee Archer. Originally used as a customs house, where imported goods were received and stored. It became Tasmania's Parliament in the 1850s. Looking to our left, we have Prince's Wharf, host to many of the city's festivals, including the Taste of Tasmania and Dark Mofo. We are now approaching the popular shopping precinct of Salamanca Place, a great spot for that special Made in Tasmania gift. A warm welcome to those of you who have joined or rejoined us here. Please remember to remain seated at all times whilst the bus is moving. If you look to the right, you will see the row of beautiful sandstone warehouses that make up Salamanca Place, named after the 1812 Battle of Salamanca in Spain. The warehouses were built in the 1840s to store barrels of whale oil, grain and timber. Salamanca Place is now famous for its art galleries, restaurants, bars, and a market is held every Saturday, which is Australia's largest outdoor market. To our left, you can see the modern buildings of the University of Tasmania's Institute of Marine and Antarctic Studies. Opened on this site in 2010, the Institute brings together all of the university's marine and Antarctic research, along with 190 staff and 185 students. This site was chosen because it was adjacent to the CSIRO Marine Laboratories.
Looking alongside the CSIRO buildings, tied up alongside there is their research ship, the Investigator, just coming up on our front there. Sandstone buildings here on our right, and again the work of the early colonial architect John Lee Archer, as mentioned back at Parliament House, and these were built as the government ordnance stores originally.
Coming up on our right is Prince's Park. Perched on the small hill is the original Hobart signal station, established here in the 1830s. For many years, all Hobart's early shipping, government, military and penal messages were received and transmitted from this site using the naval system of signal flags by relay from hilltop to hilltop, mast to mast. Messages would be sent and received from as far away as the Port Arthur Penitentiary on the Tasman Peninsula in as little as 15 minutes on a clear day. We're not sure what they did on a foggy day. Today, Prince's Park is home to a pirate ship playground and beautiful gardens. We are now entering Battery Point, the city's oldest suburb. It is named after a gun battery which was established on the point in 1818 as part of the harbour's defences. Most of the area to the left was originally shipyards, where ships weighing up to 300 tonnes were built. These included river steamers, trading ketches and whaling ships, all built out of Tasmanian timbers, such as the famous Shoe and Pine. During the 1930s, the land was subdivided and sold at £25 per block. A far cry from today's real estate prices. A warm welcome to those of you who have just joined us. Please remember to remain seated whilst the bus is moving. Most of the beautiful homes in Battery Point were built in the 1830s and 1840s. They were once the homes of ship's captains, rascals, heroes and gentry of influence who worked in the shipyards and wharves. Many famous Tasmanians have been born here, including the swashbuckling Hollywood actor Errol Flynn back in 1909. His childhood escapades around the city are legendary. Today though, many of these former homes are host to little craft shops, restaurants and cafes. Battery Point is also home to the Renner, an 1830s Georgian mansion restored to its former splendour, which is open to visitors daily. We are now in DeWitt Street, which was originally built as a road to St George's Church. The church tower can be seen on the left above the roof line of the houses. It was built in the 1830s and designed by John Lee Archer and built in the neoclassical style. The famous tower was added 10 years later and was designed by former convict and architect James Blackburn. For many years the church was known as the Mariners' Church, as a fire would be lit in the tower each night to welcome sailors to the port of Hobart. It still contains its original birch box pews, imported from England in the 1830s, and services are still held here on Sundays. As we turn right into St Georges Terrace, we have a fantastic panoramic view of the suburbs Sandy Bay, Dunearn and Lower Sandy Bay. If you like the look of Battery Point today and think it would be a great place to live, house prices start at $500,000 and run up to $2.5 million. The real estate agents describe it as having a village-like atmosphere, and yet it is only a 10-minute walk to the city.
I will make a correction to that bit of commentary in regards to real estate in this area here. Being a recorded commentary made a little while ago, and real estate prices here at Hobart has risen significantly over the last few years, and not just Hobart, around Tasmania in general. And to purchase property in this area today, those prices just mentioned, you can double those today, and in a lot of cases probably add a little bit more as well. Centre does not open until 12 midday. However, if you do wish to make a visit there, they do like to know that you're coming, so whether you're going there for tastings, food or tours, they'd like you to get online and make a reservation, and tours are booked. However, if you do have a pre-booking for a tour of the brewery before 12 midday, you do have access to the visitor centre when we do arrive.
We are now entering the Sandy Bay shopping village, home to exclusive boutiques for that special outfit, fine dining and great coffee shops. If you need a little retail therapy, hop off after we have left Wrest Point. As we travel down Sandy Bay Road, coming into view directly ahead of us is Mount Nelson. Rising 350 metres in height and offering expansive views of southeastern Tasmania, it is home to a fine brasserie and some great auctions. We are now heading down into Lower Sandy Bay, said to be one of the city's most exclusive suburbs. On both sides of the road are some magnificent old homes tucked away in the beautiful leafy streets. Looking up on the hillside ahead, most of the houses take in some fantastic harbour and city views that we will see in a few moments. Looking to the right, we can see the University of Tasmania's Sandy Bay campus, home to the schools of engineering, sciences, commerce and law. This is one of 4 campuses on the island, with one in the city centre and 2 in the north of the state at both Launceston and Burnie. In recent times, the university has been rebranded UTAS, becoming the 3rd largest employer on the island. The Sandy Bay campus moved here in the 1950s and was built on the site of an old rifle range. We are now approaching Wrest Point. Coming into view, you will see the iconic hotel tower of Australia's first legal casino, Wrest Point. Opened in 1973, it was built on the site of an earlier hotel called the Wrest Point Riviera. The tower is 17 floors in height, 15 of those being accommodation. The top floor of the tower boasts a revolving restaurant and cocktail bar with fantastic panoramic views of the harbour. With numerous bars, restaurants and entertainment venues, Wrest Point is a great place for lunch, dinner, morning or afternoon tea. If you are hopping off today, may Lady Luck be on your side. From Wrest Point, there is a scenic walk following the harbour's edge to beautiful Sandy Bay Beach. A warm welcome to those of you who have joined or rejoined us here. Your safety is our priority, so please remember to remain seated at all times whilst the bus is moving. As we move away from Wrest Point, looking just ahead, you will see 2 large marinas. The first belongs to the Derwent Sailing Squadron, who are host to the Melbourne to Hobart Yacht Race. Next door is the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, who co-organised the famous Blue Water Classic, the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race. Both races finish in the city during the festive season, between Christmas and New Year. Hobart's harbour, with a depth of 20 metres, is the second deepest natural harbour in the southern hemisphere, second only to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil.
Being a natural deep harbour, we also get some of the world's largest ships from time to time visit us, and during this time of the year, from October through to April, we're also a popular port of call for the many cruise ships that operate around Australian waters, and this year we're expecting in totals of 92 different visits of various cruise ships. The next one arriving here in Hobart on Friday.
warm welcome to those of you who have joined or rejoined us here. Please remember to remain seated at all times whilst the bus is moving. We are now climbing Barracks Hill. To our right is the site of Anglesea Barracks, Australia's longest continuously used military barracks. Originally, the soldiers of Hobart were billeted in the town. They had a lovely time, helping themselves to after-work drinks and carousing with the ladies of the town. Then, in 1811, Governor Macquarie arrived in the colony and he considered them to be drunkards and womanizers, so he marched them to the top of the hill where he established Anglesea Barracks. Today the barracks are situated within beautiful parkland gardens, which are open to the public, and a comprehensive military museum is located in the old military jail.
They mentioned at the Cascade Brewery Visitor Centre and Brewery Bar was not open as well. So if you want to make a double visit, you were intending also to visit the Cascades Female Factory. That is the bus stop after the brewery. If you like to make a visit down there first, you don't want to take it down there. And then there's a short 10-minute walk up to the Cascade Gardens from the Female Factory to take you back to the brewery, and then it gets you back there once the visitor centre is open. But again, the visitor centre and brewery bar, they do like you to make a reservation of tours. The brewery do definitely tour bookings, which you can all do online, by the way.
We are now travelling up Davey Street, named after Thomas Davey, who was an early governor of Van Diemen's Land. Davey Street will take us through the suburb of South Hobart, which is one of the original suburbs of the city. Davey Street was established during the 1830s by lawyers, doctors and magistrates to build very large and gracious homes. Most of the large houses today, however, have been converted into consulting rooms, nursing homes and apartments. Having such large homes back in those early days required the need for servants to attend to all those household duties. Generally speaking, most servants lived in the properties. That certainly wasn't the case down here in Hobart Town, as the majority of servants were convicts. The thought of having a convict living within the family home was rarely considered due to the worry of silver, china, and anything else of value being stolen. So the wealthy built little cottages for their servants, away from the main homes. The servants that once lived in these small cottages were not paid in wages, they were paid in kind, essentially working for their rent. In a moment, we will cross the southern outlet, which is the major highway to the southern part of the island. This highway is the gateway to the southern rainforests, wilderness and wildlife areas of Bruny Island, and the Huon Valley, which is Tasmania's famous apple and cherry growing region. As we travel up Davey Street on the left, just beyond the stone wall, is the beautiful Victorian mansion, Wrest. It was designed by Henry Hunter and was built in the 1860s for a gentleman by the name of Alfred Kennelly. Alfred Kennelly was a Lord Mayor of Hobart and later became a Premier of Tasmania. The home features a roof of Welsh slate, exquisite stained glass windows, and the original servants' quarters, stables and gardens. Roosevelt and many of the other grand old homes in South Hobart are heritage listed, ensuring that they are preserved for future generations. To our left, providing a magnificent backdrop to the city, is Mount Wellington. Its Tasmanian Aboriginal name is Uncut. Its first European name was Table Mountain, and it towers some 1,270 metres, or 4,020 feet, above sea level. The cliff face just below the summit is known as the Organ Place. From the summit on a clear day, you can see more than one-fourth of the island. It's only a 40-minute drive from the city centre, and a visit to the top is a must-do. But be sure to take warm clothes, as it is generally 10 to 15 degrees colder at the summit than in the city. The mountain provides a playground for homework, being home to some great bushwalks, flora and fauna.
Breathtaking Company also operates the Canadian Wellington Explorer bus. We have departures each day, starting at 9:30 in the morning. Then there's a departure every 1.5 hours thereafter. In a 2.5-hour return journey, they'll take you to the top of the mountain to spend some time at the pinnacle, take in the spectacular views as you were there today. Back down into the city. Those people who do enjoy and are prepared for bushwalking, you can go up on an earlier bus today, hop off, enjoy one of the many bushwalks to the mountain, and catch a later bus to return back to the city. The need to operate smaller buses on the mountain road, and you do need to pre-book. I do have brochures here at the front of the bus here with additional information.
We are now heading up Cascade Road, taking us to the historic Cascade Brewery. The large sections of concrete paved road we are travelling on today are a reminder of the city's early form of public transport, the tram. Hobart boasted the first fully electrified tramway system in the Southern Hemisphere, which began operation in the 1890s. Fully imported double-decker trams once graced these streets. Like our buses today, the top deck was very popular. The early trams weren't very well suited to Hobart's narrow and winding streets and tended to topple over, so it was decided to convert them into single-deck trams, which operated until 1960.
As we continue to travel up the Cascade Road towards the Cascade Brewery, in a few moments we will be in the vicinity of the Cascade Female Factory. However, the bus stop for the Female Factory is after that of the Cascade Brewery. It's on the opposite side of the road from where we're travelling. Cascade's Female Factory is one of our significant Convict heritage sites. It is well heritage listed. In recent times they opened a new visitor and interpretation centre. It is here where they like to pass on the story of the lives of those ladies that served time here. It's located down behind the Badminton Centre here to our right, alongside the Hobart Regolith. Our bus stop's just coming up at this next road junction on our right. You walk down that roadway to the bottom, turn right again, that'll take you along to the 10 minutes. Alternatively, there's a walk from the front of the brewery building, just in front of us there, down to the Cascade Gardens, this location. Next bit of commentary will make mention of tours of the brewery. They do need to be pre-booked. There's also the Cascade Visitor Centre
Looking
and Brewery
ahead,
Gardens
we
not
can
open
see the
12 days.
imposing facade of Australia's oldest brewery, the Cascade Brewery. It was established on this site in 1824 as a sawmill by Peter de Graves. Named for the two small creeks that cascaded together behind the present-day site, the sawmill was converted into a brewery in 1832, and since that time, they have been brewing Australia's oldest beer, Cascade Pale Ale. Today, the Cascade Brewery still sources its water from Mount Wellington. On the 7th of February 1967, Hobart was completely surrounded by bushfires. 61 people lost their lives on that fateful day. The brewery was extensively damaged. However, within 8 weeks, they were back on site, brewing Cascade Pale Ale once more. Today, the brewery is open for tours and great food is served at the brewery bar. If you plan to visit the Cascade Female Factory or walk the Hobart Rivulet track, this is a good place to start your journey. See your driver for a walking map of the area.
Cascade Gardens and Rivulet Walk starts down to the car park here to our right. In behind the hedge to our left here is the old homestead of Woodstock and its gardens. Today is the Visitor Centre and Brewery Bar to the Cascade Brewery. Entrance being up here on our left-hand side. And as mentioned, it does not open until midday. However, if you do have a pre-booking for a guided tour that starts before 12 midday, you do have access to the visitor centre. You can walk up this driveway here on our left-hand side where our bus stop's just up in front of us. If you're just doing the Cascade visit only, to continue your journey, just come back to the same bus stop at which you are. For those who wish to make a visit to the Cascade Female Factory, is the next stop after this one.
Members remain seated at all times whilst the bus is moving and ring the bell if you wish to stop the bus. You will notice the brewery has 2 gates for building facade. 1824 is when the company was established, and 1927 is when 4 floors were added to accommodate new brewing equipment. We are now approaching the Cascade Female Factory.
If you have anyone from the Female Factory, please press the stop bell.
Down on our left, we can see the corner of a large sandstone wall. This belongs to the Cascade Female Factory, which operated from 1828 to 1856. More than 6,000 female convicts are known to have spent time here, mostly from Great Britain and Ireland. On arrival in Hobart Town, after a 4 to 6 month sea voyage, they would be marched up here from Sullivan's Cove. Sentences ranged from 3 to 7 years, and many remained here for the term of their natural life, never to return to their homeland again. The prison once extended the full length of the valley. At any one time, it would accommodate up to 1,200 women who would be employed to carry out such tasks as needlework, the town's laundry, and the manufacturing of blankets and uniforms. They would work for up to 10 hours a day in the summertime. Those who managed to be well behaved became servants to the wealthy of Hobart. Today the site is open for tours which provide a full insight into the ladies' lives at the Cascade Female Factory. We are now entering the South Hobart Penitentiary, nestled in the foothills of Mount Wellington and one of the city's oldest suburbs. Home to chic shopping, the village is a great place for coffee and cake and is an ideal place to join the Hobart Rivulet track, winding its way from the city to the Cascade Brewery. You can also walk the streets and explore the grand old homes of Penty Chapel. South Hobart to our left is the All Saints Church, dating back to the late 1860s and designed by the well-known colonial architect Henry Hunter. Hunter's other designs include buildings such as the Hobart Town Hall, the Treasury buildings at Franklin Square, and many of the impressive homes of Hobart. Stretching along the hillside to our left is West Hobart. Many of the houses are of timber construction due to the steepness of the land in this area. We are now travelling down Macquarie Street, named after Governor Lachlan Macquarie, whose determination and vision during his 12 years as Governor of New South Wales changed early Australia from a struggling colony into a thriving community. He visited Hobart in November 1811 and was appalled at the ramshackle nature of the town. He then ordered the Governor's surveyor to organise the streets of the town into the grid pattern that makes up Hobart today. He left Australia in 1822 and died 2 years later. We are now approaching Collins Street, named after Lieutenant David Collins, the first Governor of Van Diemen's Land from 1804 to 1810. He died while still in office, and he is buried in St David's Park, the original burial ground for Hobart Town. The large sandstone building to our right was built by John Walker as a steam-powered flour mill and brewery back in 1852. The building has had many uses over the years, at one stage being used to make orange juice. Today it provides office space to the city. If you are looking for a little bit of Hollywood while on holiday, well ahead of us is the Village 7 Cinema, showing all the latest films from across the globe. Comprising of 5 ordinary cinemas, 2 world-class cinemas, with intensity gaming zones for the young and young at heart. You will see a number of Hobart's older buildings now squeezed between office and apartment blocks. Fortunately, they are under heritage protection, ensuring that we keep the blend of the old and new, which is Hobart today.
Stop just coming up is the one from the city centre that's based on N on your map, N for November. That's from the city centre.
entered Hobart's city centre, with 495 specialty shops, 89 fashion stores, and 78 cafes and restaurants. A surprise awaits at every turn. In a moment, we will cross Murray Street, and if you look to the right, you will see St David's Cathedral, designed by George Frederick Bowden and built in 3 stages from 1868 through to 1936. It is a magnificent example of the Gothic revival style, and if you listen carefully, you may be able to hear the cathedral bell. There's Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat plays the fiddle, and you guessed it, there is a cow and it jumps over the moon. It will only take a minute of your time, but trust us, the memories will last a lifetime at Cat and Fiddle Square. Further down the block is the Elizabeth Street shopping mall, closed to traffic in the mid-1970s. Ahead of us is the impressive clock tower of the Hobart Post Office, which was officially opened in 1906 to commemorate the illustrious reign of Queen Victoria. A telegram announcing the first successful expedition to reach the South Pole was sent by Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen at this post office in 1912. We are now entering Mawson's Place, named after the famous explorer and Antarctic pioneer, Sir Douglas Mawson. Just ahead are our museums. On our left is the Maritime Museum of Tasmania, open daily, boasting a rich collection of Tasmania's maritime history. To our right is the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery, boasting a fine collection of exhibits from Tasmania and all around the world. For those families on board today, be sure to visit the museum's reception desk and ask for a children's Explorer pack. Just ahead to our left is Ingle Hall, built between 1811 and 1814, making it one of Australia's earliest examples of Georgian architecture. The house has had many uses over the years, being a family home, coffee palace, and the first home of the exclusive boys' school, Hutchins. Today, it is one of the oldest buildings in the city. Just ahead, on our right, we find Australia's second oldest hospital, the Royal Hobart. It was originally called the Colonial Hospital and was established here in 1820. Today, the Royal Hobart is also a teaching hospital for the University of Tasmania, featuring state-of-the-art equipment and first-class healthcare. Hopefully, though, you won't be paying a visit anytime soon. Climbing up the hillside to our right is Hobart CBD, the oldest in Australia and a rare example of the Egyptian revival style. It was constructed in 1842 and still features its original interior, using the famous Huon pine and Tasmanian flag. The inscription in Hebrew above the front door reads, "Wherever my name is mentioned, there I will come and bless thee." To the right is Hobart's head fire station, which celebrated its centenary in 2011. The original red brick fire engine bays are now used by the Tasmanian Fire Museum. Today, the current fire station operates from the large glass section of the building. We are now approaching the Penitentiary Chapel, or Tench. Penitentiary Chapel, or Tench, one of Australia's most significant convict precincts, dating back to 1831. It was designed by the government architect John Lee Archer as a church for both free settlers and convicts. The criminal courts occupied the site until the 1970s. It is also home to the gallows, which were last used in 1946. From the 1830s until the 1960s, it was the site of the Hobart Jail, which was home to more than 50,000 convicts over the years. Step back in time and take a tour of the chapel, criminal courts and gallows. Hear stories of old Hobart Town, the grim trials and executions, as volunteer tour guides bring alive the history of the site. To our right are the modern buildings of the University of Tasmania's Hobart campus, which houses the School of Medicine and Penty Medical Research Institute. As we make our way across the roundabout, on the rise are two large Gothic-style buildings. This was the original home of the university, which occupied this site from the 1890s until the 1950s. In 2012, the university took over the site again, and after a major restoration, it is now home to the School of Nursing and Paramedics. We are now approaching the Aquatic Centre.
A reference to the original university site, it's up on the left-hand side of the building to our left. As we're about to go under the pedestrian bridge, if you look up to the left, you can see the Gothic architecture of some of the original buildings, the same buildings up there to our left. It's part of the intention of the University of Tasmania to move all its campuses from Sandy Bay up here into the city. They've already built a number of new areas for their faculties, and also, as mentioned, one part of the original site on the will become a city-based university rather than being out in Sandy Bay.
To the left is the University Rose Garden, and the large green building just beyond is the Hobart Aquatic Centre. Opened in 1998, it cost $20 million to build. The centre's water temperature is 27 degrees Celsius all year round, and it needs to be, with the River Derwent's temperature peaking in the winter at only 10 degrees Celsius. Today, it's also home to Hobart's Fitness Centre and is the starting point for the Soldiers Memorial Walk. We are now taking you into the Queen's Domain, to the magnificent Royal Tasmanian Botanical Gardens.
And the the bridge across the highway ahead of us there is a footbridge. It connects the Soldiers Memorial Walk that goes up Queen's Domain there to our left, the Royal War Memorial, and by crossing over the bridge to our right, it takes you up the Memorial Avenue to our centre town, the War Memorial.
2 hour ride, we can see Hobart's famous Tasman Bridge, built between 1960 and 1964. On January the 5th, 1975, at 9:27 p.m, old ball carrier, the Lake of the Warren, was travelling up the River Derwent in the same direction as we are. It was soon discovered that the ship was off course and it slammed into the bridge. As a result, 2 pylons and 3 spans of roadway came crashing down. 4 cars plummeted over the edge of the bridge, with 5 people losing their lives. As the ship sank under the weight of the concrete spans, 7 crew members perished. It took 2.5 years to rebuild the bridge, reopening October 1977. Today, the ship still lies on the riverbed in just 35 metres of water, because the zinc ore that it was carrying sits like concrete when mixed with salt water.
When you look across to the bridge to its highest point underneath is the navigation span for heavy shipping, and that's where the Lake Illawarra should have sailed through. If you look 3 spans to the right towards the other shore, you'll notice that there's a larger gap between the pylons as compared to those in the rest of the bridge. They could only put one of the pylons back to the 2 that was knocked out by the ship. The ship lies in the way of the other one still there today. Ship's captain, he was charged and found guilty of negligent navigation.
Our right, hidden in the trees, is Tasmania's Government House. This magnificent 73-room Georgian mansion was designed by William Purdon Kane. Construction commenced in 1842 and was completed in 1857. When built, it was the most expensive government house in the British Empire, costing nearly £70,000. It has been voted the second most beautiful vice-regal residence in the Commonwealth, second only to Buckingham Palace in London. The sandstone for the house was all sourced from within the grounds, and today those quarries make up the Governor's Lake. If the flag is up, the Governor is home.
Just approaching the Botanical Gardens, our bus stop's on the right-hand side of the road. Going to make a short drive past, so we turn round and go back to the bus stop, the entrance to the gardens, and the lower road to our front right.
Just ahead of us are the Royal Tasmanian Botanical Gardens. The gardens were established in 1818 and were originally worked by convicts. Today you won't find any convicts, but you will find 14 hectares of native exotic and European plants. Highlights include an exquisite Japanese garden, the Subantarctic house, spectacular floral displays in the conservatory, and the largest collection of conifers in the southern hemisphere. You will also find a tea room and gift shop. We'll go out on a limb and say they are the most beautiful gardens in Australia. It is open daily to dusk and entry is free. The 4 light poles towering over Belrive belong to Belrive Oval, which hosts Australian rules football as well as international and local cricket matches. Just ahead and to our left is the cenotaph, which was constructed in 1925 to remember those Tasmanians who have served and given their lives in times of war and peace. The triangular shards are a memorial to our Victoria Cross recipients. Hobart's former gas works, which was built by the Hobart Gas Company more than a century ago. Gas for domestic and industrial use was produced at this site from the 1850s until the 1970s. We are now approaching Vitoria Docks.
Alongside sandstone buildings there is that of the Royal Engineers. Those people that are interested in AFL football, you might realise that Tasmania has been granted the 19th licence for competition on the building of the stadium. The site to our left is the site for the stadium. Keeping into the history of the old gasworks, the copper plate building here to our right was built to resemble that of a gasometer. It's our Federation Concert Hall, home to our Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra.
To our left is Vitoria Docks, home to Hobart's fishing fleet and the best seafood restaurants in Hobart. Most of the boats work on the south coast of Tasmania, chasing the elusive southern rock lobster, or as we call it, crayfish. The next little dock along is Constitution Dock, made famous for being the finishing point of the Sydney to Hobart yacht race. It is home to an electrifying atmosphere between Christmas and New Year as the yachts complete the 619 nautical mile moon route classic from Sydney to Hobart.
So we're now approaching the Tasmanian Visitor and Information Centre, which brings conclusion to the City Loop. The next departure is at 12 noon. However, we'll be asking the bus to be vacated. We'll be ready for reboarding again for those who wish to travel on the 12 noon departure. Be ready for reboarding 5 minutes before departure time. I'll need to take my regulation